All right, everyone. Jeff Kaplan, vice president of Blizzard. And we're getting back to this story again, and I can't really talk about this enough, because of everything going on in Hong Kong. But Jeff Kaplan is upset that who is also the vice president of Blizzard, who, if he's so upset, why wasn't he on top of this issue? I feel like, all these guys who are the big wigs in Blizzard are like, this happened too fast. I'm kind of upset that this is going on. This is a mea culpa after everything had happened. They should have been a little bit more professional and been on top of this when this shit was going on. The fact that they're dealing with this after the fact is really sad. It's really pathetic. And it says a lot about the leadership over at Blizzard right now. So let's see here. Blizzard Vice President Jeff from the Overwatch team. He's a director, by the way, of Overwatch, and he's also the vice president of Blizzard. Criticized the company's rushed response, calling for Chung's suspension to be reduced more or eliminated. Of course, because it's a huge black eye for the company. And now, much later, these guys are all coming out because they're afraid to lose their job. Let's be honest. Nobody talks about this. When you watch content creators, they never talk about this shit. Speaking to the Washington Post, Kaplan expressed disappointment in Blizzard's rash decision. Well, you're the fucking vice president, Jeff. Why was it such a rash decision? Why did this happen without you looking at it? Why didn't you talk to the president? Why didn't you get on top of this when this shit was going down, Jeff? I'm obviously a huge supporter of free speech. It's something that's very important to me. It got to me personally. Well, now that you're a global company and controlled by the Chinese overlord Tencent, maybe that's kind of controlling the decision. Who's driving? Who's driving over at Blizzard? Is it the investors? I mean, it's a public company, so yeah, it is the investors, actually. And the investors happen to be Chinese. I think the punishment was too harsh, and I was greatly relieved when they gave his money back. I think that was extremely important. The money, of course, the guy's thinking about money. Capitalism, man. Nothing wrong with capitalism. Well, there's a lot of things wrong with capitalism. Don't get me started about that. He admits the news came as a shock to him and the rest of the Overwatch team. It came as a shock to you? You're the vice fucking president, man. With no internal communication on the matter. What? So this happened without you knowing it, Jeff? It appears he didn't find out about Chung's suspension until news hit the following day. Who's driving? What? Yeah, they are often made. Booch is right. Decisions such as these are often made without a consensus because you have one guy who thinks he's got the biggest balls in the room and he doesn't do things the way that they should be done, especially when you're a public company. The board should always vote on issues like this. And it seems like for some reason that kind of just got all skipped over. So good comment, Bucha. Like Blizzard president Jay Allen Brack before him, Kaplan believes Blizzard moved too fast. The president. Because the president came out a week ago. Jay Allen Brack came out a week ago and said, oh, yeah, we moved too fast. This is the fucking president of Blizzard coming out and saying the same damn thing. It's ridiculous. There's a precedent for how these things should play out, Kaplan claims. Drawing on experience handling suspensions, bans, and Overwatch. We had to deal. So he's saying, hey, dude, I'm just doing Overwatch right now. I got my shit in check. We had to deal with a few of them in season 1 in particular, and that process usually takes about 4 or 5 days to make the decision. There was always a group of us involved. Well, maybe you guys should look internally about how you guys make decisions in the future so that you don't look like you're communists. How about that? I understand you're capitalists and you're going for just the money and you don't want to lose the Chinese because that's going to be a shit ton of money. And I understand what you guys are doing because you're a corporation and you're trying to make your shareholders $1. And I get that. But perhaps the public image is also very important in the wealth of the company. Let's look at Activision Blizzard stock and let's see how it's doing. Activision Blizzard stock. It says do an Activision Blizzard stock. Oh, it looks like it's okay. Now, this is the funny thing that I get into where, like, if you look at the 5-day chart, right? You look at the 5-day chart, it looks like it's gotten hit since then. And the quartering comes out and says, stock plummets. Stock plummets. Like the quartering, and the quartering's cool. I watched the quartering and, but like when it comes to like stock analysis, maybe you shouldn't be listening to the quartering because let's look at the year to date. Still rather healthy. still rather healthy at $52 a share. It looks like in March they were down at 42. By the way, I did a video in March or somewhere. I think I did one when it was in the low 40s. And I was like, if I had the money, I would be buying it now. And I'm kicking myself in the teeth because I should have bought Activision, but I didn't have the money to do it. And I did a video a long time ago that said WTF Blizzard. And this was another Blizzard fiasco. And I saw that the stock price was 40 some dollars. And I said to everybody out there, hey, everybody's like, oh, stay away, stay away. And I was like, maybe I should buy it right now. I think it would be smart to buy it. Boom. And it went up. Now they're like, stock plummets. It's probably going to hit a cushion around here. If it goes down anymore, it'll probably go into the mid 40s or so and find another cushion. But if you look at a longer term chart here, they're still doing fairly well. It is a scary pattern when you start to see it kind of fall off a cliff like that. But it's still not what I would call plummeting. When you look at the max chart here, and you see this fucking meteoric rise here, and it had its trouble. I think it was one of the conference calls when they were reporting for one of their quarters, and it went down. But I think it'll probably go back down to this lower support of 42 again, and stick around there for a while and see what, if it's going to go from 42. So it might go back down to 42. I'm not quite sure. At this point, I'm not making any predictions on the stock. But anyhow, I just think it's kind of crazy how these guys don't have control over their own company. And they need to look internally. Tell me what you guys think down below in the comments. I would love to see what you guys have to say. Thanks for watching this vid, and I will see you on the next video.